What's going on, guys? Dave here. This is a 2009 Toyota Matrix, also known as the Corolla Matrix. But what I'm going to show you will apply to a ton of different cars, but this specific method is for this car. What's going on is the windshield washer fluid that usually comes out of these nozzles right here is not coming out when you hit the trigger, although you do hear the little pump that's underneath, underneath the reservoir right there. You do hear it buzzing, so it's coming on, but I think it's just kind of bit the dust. I'll put a link down below where you can get it, but it looks like this, and I'll show you how to get to it. It's really easy to get to, but it looks like this. So make sure when you order one that you go ahead and remove your existing one so you can compare the connector underneath here as well as the overall look of the device. That way you know you order the correct one if you're getting it online or Amazon or eBay or whatever, or even your local auto parts store, because these are available at most of your common auto parts stores. Okay, so let's look underneath. Of course, it's going to be on the passenger side. This is the reservoir right here, so it's down at the bottom, so it helps if you can get the car off the ground in the front. I use these nifty little ramps. I'll put links down below for that, or you need to jack up the front of the car because it's too low to get underneath it otherwise. And then we'll look underneath and see where this little pump is located. Okay, and all you'll need is a little 10mm socket, because I've already got it partially disassembled here, but this little plate, it's like a plastic shield, is usually up like this, and it's just a few little 10mm screws that hold it in place. So I'll show you what I've got going on here. As you see, it usually looks like this, and those little screws, they just fasten it into place to the bottom of the bumper. So you got little screw holes here, here, and back here. So you remove those screws, and then this will kind of just flex down like this, and then there's the bottom of the reservoir where your washer fluid is located. And you'll need to get a little bucket, because if you still have fluid in this tank, it's going to come pouring out when you remove the little pump, which is this guy here. And the pump goes in. If you see here, there's a hole on the back side. See that hole right there? And there's a rubber grommet around the outside edge. That when you buy the new one, it will come with a replacement rubber grommet, so you might need to replace it if yours is all dry rotted, cracked, or nasty. And you'll just pry it out with a little pick or a flat screwdriver. But this, the actual pump, you just sort of pull it out, literally pull it out by hand. You just sort of wiggle it and just pop it out. But be ready with a bucket, because the fluid will start pouring out below it if it's still on there. And then your little connector, make sure that this connector matches up with the new one you buy. Notice the way it looks there, because they make different ones depending on if yours is a Toyota Corolla. It may look a little different, but my point is, make sure that you go ahead and remove your old one first so that you can compare the connector, because if you've done like I have and you go and buy the wrong one, and you go all the way to the store to get it, or you waited for it from an online store, whatever, and you get it in the mail and it's not the correct one because you didn't do your research and make sure that it's correct. Anyway, you see it just connects. That just connects right there. It snaps in place. You may have to use a little flat screwdriver or a pick to remove it from that connector. It'll pop right off. And the way it's in the, see how it goes in the hole right there, and you'll just literally just sort of wiggle it, out, and it will just pop out of there. And once again, be ready with a bucket, because it'll come pouring out of that hole. And if you have a rear washer reservoir or rear washer pump, it'll connect to this other guy, but this particular car does not have it, but yours might. So you have to determine which is which for yours. I believe they're the same pump, but you want to make sure by the part number that comes off of your old one. Anyway, and then with your new one, it will come with that new little grommet. Let's see, the new one comes with a new little rubber seal. that'll go in like that where the other one came out. And then this guy will just fit into the slot. You'll just sort of wiggle it in there. You could put a little bit of, you know, a little soapy water or something so it'll help it slide in there easier. And then the hose, the little hose that goes up to the top of the hood, comes out of this guy right here. And of course the electrical connector goes right there. And then refill your reservoir, and that's really all there is to it. And put the put the little shield back on the bottom. Put that shield back on with those little screws that I showed you, and it's really all there is to it. But make sure that you're careful, you know, how you get the car off the ground with your jack system, or I use ramps for something like that. So just make sure you're careful doing that. And that's really all there is to it. And make sure you have a bucket nearby, because you will definitely need it. And I showed you another video on how I troubleshooted, you know, if you have like a clog in the rubber hoses. It could be clogged, it could be pinched, it could be leaking. These little rubber hoses, this little junction right here could be cracked like mine is. So I'm gonna have to put another little three-way T to replace that broken piece. So you may need to, you know, get a air compressor to blow some air coming through this entire hose system so that you can confirm what the faulty part is. So, you know, you may have to do a little bit of investigating, but these little pumps don't last forever. And that's really all there is to it. So check out other videos. We got more videos about this car. This is a 09 Toyota Matrix. And we got tons of other stuff relating to cars, dirt bikes, ATVs, scooters, Harley Davidsons, Yamaha motocross bikes, all kinds of stuff. So check out our channel. And we're always got something new coming. You'll have a great day. We'll see you.